Welcome to the Sports Bros Podcast, featuring the Almighty B-Live, the Money Man, Scottie D, and your host, the head of creative, Eddy Kool. And without any further ado, here they are, the Sports Bros. Hey, what's going on, world? This be your boy, Eddy Kool, a.k.a. the HOC, villain extraordinaire. Eddy Kool, and welcome to another action-packed edition of the Sports Bros Podcast. 38 of them things. 38 of the Sports Bros Podcast. We talk about sports, and more sports. So if you're looking for other BS and politics, it ain't over here, player. It's not over here. And of course, I got two of the best co-hosts in the world coming for your job, Greg Hamilton, the Almighty B-Live.
Well, look at here, boy. Look at here. I made it. I'm back, fellas. Jesus H. Christ. Man, I've missed you guys so much, man. So much I've missed, but I'm here. I'm here for the whole episode. The whole episode, finally. Oh, Jesus. When's the last time I've done a whole episode? Good God. But anyway, I'm here. I'm floating on cloud nine right now because I'm focused just on college football and forget that professional stuff. I don't even care right now. It's all about college football. Reigning, defending, undisputed. You already know. And Scott, don't be coming on here and talking about we did anything. Who is we? Anyway, but yeah, I'm here. Eddy Kool. Amtrak, do your thing.
And speaking of we, the one, the only, the Money Man, and he was a candidate for the Pittsburgh Pirate job, but some guy beat him for some no-name named Derek or some mess like that. The Money Man, Scottie D.
Woo! Yes, sir. We did it. We beat the Gamecocks this weekend. It was great. We won the big game, so I'm excited to get to it.
Wow.
Hashtag who is we?
All roads lead to Dabo. We did it, baby. We won.
2 minutes into the show, we got an all roads lead to Dabo reference.
I'm so
we won the big game.
We Monsieur. Shout out to our French audience if we have one. This we stuff. Yeah, whatever. Let's talk about it anyway.
And we beat Duke the other night. We had a good week.
Are you referring to Stephen F. Austin, or what you talk about?
We beat him. We got him.
You talk about football? You talking about Pittsburgh?
We won the big game.
We got you was alone in that one. Pittsburgh.
And we beat the Patriots on Sunday night. We had a really good weekend. We had a good weekend.
Well,
we did it.
We did it.
Everybody's happy that the Patriots lost. I mean, just as much as everybody's happy that the Cowboys lost. So
we lost. We lost on Thanksgiving.
So we went from we win to we lost.
Yeah, we had a bad Thanksgiving, but we had a good weekend. So let's get to it, Eddy Kool. Feed us, baby. Feed us.
Exactly. I got so much food in my refrigerator. I'm tired of looking at it. So tired of looking at it. But in the words of the Almighty B-Live, I digress. Eli Drake. I'm sorry, I had a wrestling moment there. All right, going into college football, one of the more important weeks that everybody's been looking for, the last game of the season, unless you're qualifying for your conference championships or spot in the playoffs. And it goes as follows. Number one, Ohio State, they beat the brakes off of Michigan. I ain't going to read the score. This is that damn bad. If you ask me, Jim Harbaugh, his ass can be fired. Number two, LSU, they walked the dog on Texas A&M. Go figure. Clemson, a.k.a. we, number three, they defeat the South Carolina Gamecocks 38-3. Number four, Georgia, they defeat Georgia Tech 52-7. And number 15, Auburn defeats Alabama 48-45 in the Iron Bowl. And a pretty good game towards the end. The University of Virginia defeats Virginia Tech 39-30. We got some other rivalry games, but that's neither here nor there. We're just focusing on the upper echelon, the top 5, the top 6 teams, if you will. We're talking about Ohio State, LSU, Clemson, and UGA. 4 teams, college football playoffs. So be live. What do you think is going to happen between, first of all, be live, can you give us a recap of the conference championship games?
Well, I do appreciate Eddy Kool, I want you to do me a favor.
Okay.
Look up the who Utah played. I don't remember, but that's going to come pivotal.
Okay.
Because that's something that's a talking point. So in the Big Ten, it's going to be a rematch. Ohio State versus Wisconsin. Will Wisconsin get some revenge and maybe derail the Ohio State playoff hopes? All right. The ACC. 7 different teams, 7 years, 7 different teams come from the ACC Coastal into the ACC championship game. Virginia, after beating Virginia Tech, now has the daunting task of facing the reigning, defending, undisputed national champion Clemson Tigers. All right. And Virginia should be ranked, so I want everybody to hush that noise about Clemson hasn't played a ranked opponent. Whatever. I ain't got time for that. In the SEC, it's going to be a battle of LSU versus Georgia. Georgia? So, number 2 versus number 4 currently. That could change come after release of the Sports Bros podcast. In the Big 12, we've got another rematch when you got Oklahoma versus Baylor. Oklahoma beat Baylor the first time to end their undefeated streak, but will Baylor be able to get revenge on Oklahoma and possibly find their way into the playoff contention? Me, I don't think so. But hey, I'm not in the war room. I should be, but I'm not. And then in the Pac-12, it is Utah versus Oregon. And right now, the reason why I want you to look up the Utah game is because with Alabama losing, that pretty much already puts Utah up to number 5 at least. And I think if LSU beats Georgia, that would put Utah in the top 4. So I just want to, if Utah beats Oregon, which is not an easy task, but Utah's defense, people aren't talking about it because sometimes when we're on the East Coast, we might sometimes forget about the Pacific Coast time, the West Coast teams. But watching Utah's defense, they might have a story to tell. Who knows?
One loss Utah. Let's see. They played Colorado and they beat the brakes off of them, 45-15.
Right. That was the game I was looking for. It was also, again, like I said, the big point that I like to talk about was the fact that LSU and Ohio State were playing their best football on Saturday, and they're trying their best to be number 1 in the country because number 2 in the country will most likely have to face my boys. None of this we and us. Us, we. No,
they don't want none of us. I know
Here we go.
But I was listening to a couple of commentators talk about the fact that nobody wants to be number 2 right now because essentially, just the way the committee has set it up, Clemson does not have the strength of schedule. So the ACC is just down this year. Texas A&M, I mean, they were ranked, but they had the second toughest schedule. I think South Carolina, the Gamecocks literally had the toughest schedule this year. They had to face Alabama, Clemson, and Georgia. Like at the time, those were the top 3 teams at the beginning of the year. And they beat Georgia, which shocking enough, but
yes.
Which leads me to further believe that Georgia should not be in the top 4 for whatever reason. That was just a terrible loss to a 4-8 Gamecock team. I don't know. That's just me. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah, it was a terrible loss. Like, what the hell? Like, and with the slaughtering that Clemson put on South Carolina, that doesn't help Georgia at all. Like needing help, no. That doesn't help them at all. But yeah, man, just Ohio State's rolling and LSU's rolling. But like you said, man, no one wants to be number 2 because they might have to play Clemson. But somebody got to be 1, somebody got to be 2, 3, and 4. So yeah, Alabama. Sorry, Uncle Max, but your boys is done. They got 2 losses, and so it's going to be really interesting to see Tuesday what the rankings are. Very, very interesting because if you ask me, I am, for the first time in forever, I am very excited about these here college football playoffs. Scottie D, what you got on that?
It's definitely interesting because I know back in August we talked about we discussed amongst ourselves whether we thought Clemson, Alabama in the national championship game was going to be another foregone conclusion. So we're obviously not getting that. And I hate to say it because I don't really like Ohio State, but they look really good, and I think they could take Clemson at this point. Only saying that just because Clemson hasn't got pushed around at all this year. Guess Ohio State really hasn't either. So that's going to be an interesting game to see. If LSU gets moved back to that 1 spot, and that might happen if they beat Georgia. So I don't know. There's still a lot to be decided. I tell you though, I am so disappointed in how lopsided the Ohio State-Michigan rivalry has become. 8 years now. Is that right? Did I see that the other day? 8 years now that Ohio State has won that game. And I really thought when Harbaugh got there, things were going to be different, that game was going to tighten up and he was going to, one of the kind of things where not the same team wins every single year, but Harbaugh's Michigan teams just aren't beating anybody good. They're not beating the good teams. And, oh, man, they got trounced in this game. I was really hoping that they were going to make it a game this year. I really wanted to see something better than we saw on Saturday out of Michigan. So that, to me, that's disappointing. And I know South Carolina's down a little bit. I want to see a better Clemson-South Carolina game. I want to see more games like what we saw from the Iron Bowl the other day, which coincidentally I missed because my parents were and I didn't get to see much of that game. But that I'd like to see a little bit better results of rivalry games than the foregone conclusions. But Michigan's the one that disappoints me the most right now. I mean, they 56-27. That was a score. And I don't have any reason to believe Wisconsin's going to knock off Ohio State next week. Was it 38-7 they beat them last month? It was pretty convincing. Their biggest test was supposed to be Penn State. I didn't really think that was much of a test. But I think, Ohio State, I can't see them losing to Wisconsin. So they'll probably end up keeping that number 1 ranking. And I actually think LSU is the better team. So could be Clemson LSU there if everything holds true. I don't see Virginia putting up much of a fight against Clemson either. So I think those top 3 spots are probably going to hold true. And then that number 4 spot's going to be the real interesting one to see.
Absolutely. I did want to mention the fact you said you were disappointed in Michigan.
I wanted to see better out of them.
The reason why you're disappointed in Michigan is that you had some type of false hope in Michigan. I knew going into that, Harbaugh doesn't have it. He's a lot of flash and flare, honestly. And
but coming in, I mean, he had a lot of success in turning Stanford around. He took the 49ers to the Super Bowl. You just felt like he was much hyped coming in, and there was a reason for that because he's been very good. And I just was expecting that by now Michigan would be, at least able to trade wins with Ohio State, every other year or so, or at least be more competitive than 56-27. I certainly didn't think they were going to win that game on Saturday, but I'd like to have seen a game of it anyway. You know what I mean?
I was thinking the same thing too. And okay, Harbaugh's going to Michigan, so I'm thinking it was going to be Ohio State, Michigan, and everybody else.
Especially with Urban Meyer leaving. You really thought that the playing field was going to be leveled in that rivalry, and it's not.
No,
it's extremely lopsided. It's like Ohio State and then everybody else. Kind of like an ACC where it's Clemson and everybody else. The SEC where it's Alabama LSU, 2 more teams, and everybody else.
Well, it ain't Alabama anymore. I honestly believe that we might have seen the end of the Alabama dynasty. Just because the way LSU has played this year now, granted, Joe Burrow will be going to the NFL. Do we see a successor to him? I don't know. But I just think, like, that's one thing about the SEC I will give respect and props to, is that the top team in the SEC is like Alabama's been doing it for a while, but it's been competitive. Has been competitive. I hate the fact of what I'm seeing with my ACC. I hate it. As much as I enjoy the fact that Clemson has been recruiting on a whole nother level, has been playing talent-wise, coaching-wise on a whole nother level. I'm extremely thankful of being the national champions 2 out of the past 3 years. It's a dream come true. But at the expense of the conference, where your perennial powerhouses, your Florida States, your Miamis, your Virginia Techs, all of them look like pure dumpster juice right now.
Yep.
Like Florida State is in shambles. Miami is in shambles. I think both of them are 6-6, barely make it to a bowl game. Virginia Tech, and I want to mention this, for the first time in 16 years, Virginia beats Virginia Tech. 16 years. You mentioned the 8 years in a row for Ohio State, but whew, Virginia beating Virginia Tech. I watched that game and wow, just the excitement level of those kids and everything. And then reality sets in because they do have to come see my boy. Yes, sir.
Yeah, let's see, Miami.
We'll beat them.
Miami is 6-6, and Florida State 6-6. So they're both bowl eligible. Yay! Or whatever.
Hey, you know who else is bowl eligible? The Cowboys. They're 6-6 too.
Oh, we get there.
We'll get into that later.
Toilet bowl.
The toddy bowl.
Jesus.
Yep. So that's what we got going on as far as college football goes. But it is going to be very interesting. You made some great points, B Live, about them being successful at the expense of the conference. But hey, the quote an old saying, it bees that way sometimes. Uncle Max did bring up an interesting point about how we think Oklahoma is thoroughly disrespected when it comes to the playoffs, as far as like consideration, because I'm looking at the standings here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The usual suspects: Ohio State, LSU, Clemson, Georgia, Alabama. We got Utah 6 and Oklahoma at 7.
Well, they could end up sliding up there. I mean, it's not that big of a stretch. I mean, a couple things have to happen, but they could. I mean, Georgia, LSU play each other, so something's going to change in the top 4. And you say Utah's playing Oregon, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, that's Oregon winning that game's not a stretch. I mean, they're probably going to be favored, actually, I would think.
Yeah, here's the problem here, because here's the difference between your top 3 teams, and then I still feel like Georgia's just wrong. He makes a valid point when it comes to Oklahoma, but Oklahoma has had, like, that Kansas State loss, of course, is the reason why we're having this discussion. But then when they turn around and only beat an Iowa State team by 1 point, and so, I mean, their only ranked opponent victory was Baylor. So they beat Texas by a touchdown, and Texas is a shell of their former selves. I thought this was supposed to be Texas's year with Sam or what? How you spell it? How you say that name? Erlinger, or that dude. You know who I'm talking about? Him. Yeah, but I think they're what, 7-5, 6-6 themselves. Like, that was a complete disappointment. The biggest disappointment is Syracuse. I don't even know. They were ranked at the beginning of the year. I think they're 3-9. I don't even know what the heck happened. That's part of that whole ACC debacle. Freaking around.
Yeah, a bad year for our co-champion Pitt Panthers too.
The fighting Pat Narduzzi's.
The fighting Narduzzi's. Yeah.
What are they? What's on Pitt's record?
I don't even know. I have no clue.
I can look it up.
I know that it's not very good. They've lost a couple.
But yeah, Oklahoma.
Their signature win was Central Florida when they were still undefeated, but they've lost a few games as well at this point. So.
But yeah, like the Oklahoma
7-5.
Okay, for bowl eligible. Okay.
Yep.
But yeah, like Oklahoma is they just have not managed to really dominate the games. I'm looking at a couple of their games or whatever. It's just even like 1 point, like I said, 1 point to Iowa State, 4 points TCU. Like where these other teams, the top tier teams right now, like they have those dominating factors. And so I don't know. Like I said, Oklahoma is in the conversation, but it's a tough task right now. For Oklahoma to make it in, Oregon would have to beat Utah. LSU beat Georgia soundly.
Mm-hmm.
Because they really, honestly, they want two teams from the SEC to be in the playoff, which I think is unfair because I don't see any reason why. Like, I think right now you're 4 conference champions, LSU, Ohio State, Clemson, and right now it's an actual toss-up between your Utah or Oklahoma. I think that should be the conversation. I really don't think Georgia should be in that conversation. Now, if Georgia beats LSU, then without question you put 2 SEC teams in there because LSU, I think, is a virtual lock.
Mm-hmm.
They've beaten the teams and went undefeated. They had the strength of schedule, strength of record. LSU, win or loses in. So
yeah, LSU, like you said, man, they beat who they needed to beat when it was clutch. Excuse me. They did what they had to do to get to where they need to be. So it's just a fact. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I would love to see Utah just throw a monkey wrench into everything. I would just love to see them just throw a monkey wrench into everything. But as you can tell, we can sit here and opine about college football all damn day, but we got a whole lot more going on in the world of sports, and that's it for the college football recap. All right, moving right along, we got the National Football League, Week 13, correct?
Yep.
Oh, okay, cool. We got Week 13. All right, so Week 13 started Turkey Day. Gobble, gobble, gobble. We got some traditional games and involving some traditional teams, and it goes as follows. The Chicago Bears barely defeat the Detroit Lions. How about that Blau kid, man? He looked pretty good. He looked pretty good. Also, I said this in a group chat, man. I said last week people need to put some respect on Frank Gore's name. That duo of Galladay and Jones in Detroit, people might, including yours truly, because I wasn't sold on them. I'm gonna have to put some respect on those guys' names too. Those guys are good. Like they are good. I don't know what the hell Matt Patricia's doing, but those wide receivers are good. They'll probably be gone if they don't right the ship up there in damn Detroit. And then we have the New Orleans Saints. They defeat the Atlanta Falcons 26-18. Goody.
And that was it. That was all that happened.
That was all that happened, huh?
Oh,
that was it. There's a couple good Thanksgiving games. Yeah.
Here comes smoke. Do you want that smoke? Ow. And the Buffalo Bills. My surprise. You know what? At the beginning of the season, we didn't think that the Buffalo Bills would be this good. At what? What are they? 9-3 now, right?
9-3.
The 9-3 Buffalo Bills playing in the same division as the New England Patriots. Okay, they say, you know what? We ain't trying to be in the trash division this year. We at least want to shot at the wild card. I don't think they'll get it. I'm not going to lie to you. I think the Bills will get it. The Buffalo Bills, they go to Dallas and defeat the Cowboys 26-15. Scottie D, I'm just gonna give this one to you and just here's a softball. Just knock it out the park. Or in the words of Jason Garrett. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, that's kind of it. First of all, let me give a little bit of credit to Buffalo, because I don't remember we were talking about our AFC East previews earlier, and I said I thought that their arrow was pointing the right way. I still didn't think they were this good, though. I didn't think they'd beat the Cowboys on Thursday. That's not just me as a Cowboy lover. That's me actually thinking that Buffalo had they were going to face a tough game. They weren't going to be quite ready for that. Man, they looked really good. I like that young team, man. They got a lot of good young talent on that team. So I give them a lot of credit. They got a head coach who was game planned for the Cowboys, and they looked, they looked like they knew they were going to win that game. And on the other sideline, oh man! Now Sunday night, Jerry Jones sent out that salvo where he was disappointed and frustrated, and said that the talent, that was on the field, he shouldn't be that frustrated with what he was seeing. And that's just enough to fire you up, and then you go out there and get dominated at home. Now that's preparation. Once again, I mean, I'm at a loss, guys. I mean, Jerry Jones is frustrated, and I've been frustrated for the same thing for a lot longer. I've been frustrated since 2012 with this head coach. And, after the game, reporter says to him, "Do you need a new kicker?" He just flat out says it. He doesn't dance around it. We're looking at a kicker who misses every game. And Jason Garrett says, "We certainly expected to make those kicks, and we'll look at everything." And he's made some big kicks for us. When? You know what he should have said? He should have said, "Yeah, I do need a new kicker." And acted like he's got something between his knees down there. But no, he's out there hemming and hawing away. And being the mediocre, clapping, pull your mouthpiece and spit, do nothing on the sideline jackass that he's always been.
Ooh.
How about you say, "Yeah, we do need a new kicker because this guy sucks"? How about saying something like that to get your team fired up? No. You know who's getting the team fired up? It's Michael Bennett, who's been on the team 3 weeks. He's in the locker room firing up the gang, not Jason Garrett. Jerry Jones is crying because he's not doing so well. Come on, Jerry. He says that 30 years from now, you'll be writing the story about how we run the table and go to the Super Bowl. Oh, come on, man. I mean, look who your coach is. What in 9.5 years would lead you to believe that that's gonna happen? Yeah, they'll probably beat Chicago next week, but then they're gonna play the Rams, and they have a winning record. So I sure as hell don't expect to win that game. Oh. Move on. Get next.
No,
Scotty, I got a quick question. Why did Dallas get rid of Dan Bailey to begin with?
He was the most accurate kicker in the history of the NFL. They let him walk because Brett Maher makes a 62-yard field goal, 60-yard field goal in preseason. And I guess because the year before Bailey had gotten hurt, and when he came back, he wasn't himself the last couple games of the season. But certainly, you got to do better than this, right? That's what I always say, do better. I mean, do better. Come on.
Hashtag do better.
3 kickers on Sunday, yet I think they're still going to go with Mark because he's done a really good job for us. No, he hasn't.
Oh man, no, so, you know what? Now, let me help Scottie D. I'm gonna help you out. I mean, because I understand your frustration, but you know what? The Cowboys are still leading the NFC least.
Yeah,
I know, and the Eagles laid an incredible egg on Sunday.
I'm just telling you, it's optimistic. The talent on the field is there. Honestly, I still see the Cowboys at 9-7, like I said at the beginning of the season. But
9-7. I mean, you say the talent on the field is there. Then shouldn't they be better than 9-7? Even if they win a division, I mean, they should be better than 9-7.
That's the key word. They should be better. They should be better. And should starts with clapping that ass Jason Garrett.
Now, and the thing about it is, we have all underestimated the Bills. Do you realize that the Bills are only one game out of the division lead?
Yeah.
They're one game from the division lead, and in Week 16, they come to Foxborough and play the Patriots. That could easily be the defining game for the AFC East crown.
It could be, but the problem is, I believe they play the Ravens next Sunday, and that's going to be a huge test.
Well, the Patriots play Kansas City next week, and the way the Patriots look right now, they don't look it. They're just saying. I think the only reason why they're 10-2 is because of their schedule. Like, who have they really played?
The schedule and the damn defense. Because I mean, the offense. I'm looking at the offense. I'm like, what in the hell is going on?
Yeah, they are a shell of their former selves. So I mean, that defense has definitely kept them in games. But now, I mean, you got the Texans. I mean, and now you got Kansas City. And Kansas City yesterday looked like they were firing on all cylinders.
Yeah,
they look like the Kansas City of old. Patrick Mahomes back there dancing and throwing 30-yard freaking darts on his back foot, falling backwards behind the back, like
by doing a headstand.
Right. I'm like, golly. Some of the throws are ridiculous. So, I mean, I'm telling you right now, that Bills Patriots game could be very pivotal. I think they're both make the playoffs, but it's one of those things. It's a strong possibility that the Patriots don't win the division crown. They've won 11 times in a row. So,
you know, about 3 weeks ago, I said that I really thought that Kansas City would get it together and still be the biggest threat to the Patriots. And I said I didn't think there was a lot of resistance to the road back to the Super Bowl for the Patriots. However, after watching these last couple weeks, man, the Patriots did not look themselves on Sunday night.
Nope.
And the Ravens they've changed my mind, because I said I didn't believe that even though they had beat New England, that they would be able to go on the road in January and do that again. But they may not have to. Like you said,
nope.
The Chiefs are playing the Patriots. They'd lose again. The Ravens could end up being the one with home field advantage. And Lamar Jackson at this point hasn't given me any reason to believe that any moment's too big for him.
Well, right now, as it stands, Baltimore is the number one team in the AFC. Because they got the head-to-head victory against the Patriots.
Yeah,
they are the number one seed right now.
Yeah, and you saw Brady walk to the sideline and toss his helmet. He's frustrated, even though they're winning games. He knows that things aren't the same. You missed that seam route with Gronk. If the other team is concentrating on taking away Edelman, then they're taking away a lot of his weaponry right there. You lose Gronk and Edelman, and and then they released Josh Gordon, and Antonio Brown didn't pan out. So, their offense is just not clicking, and Brady is a little bit older, so they just had a different look to them the last couple weeks. They very well could have lost to the Cowboys in that rainy game, and they did lose to the Texans on Sunday night. So, man, I'm my mind is changing, and the Patriots were my pick to go to the Super Bowl, and I was standing by that. I'm still not going to change. I'm not going to waver on it, but I'm going to tell you, I'm not as convinced as I was before.
Yeah. Let's see. Looking at these other scores, the Patriots, they lose to the Texans. The Bengals, they get their first win of the season against the New York Jets.
Off the schneid.
22-6, get their first win. 22-6 to get their first win of the season, which means the state of Ohio, you ain't got to worry about being the home of 2-16 teams. Whew, don't want that distinction. A team is starting to heat up, the Tennessee Titans. Do you know that damn Derrick Henry? Oh, my word. Derrick Henry. He is one of those backs. The longer the game gets, the stronger that he gets.
Yep.
The benching of Marcus Mariota has helped them out a whole lot. And then we got the former wide receiver, as B-Live calls him, Ryan Tannehill, looking good, looking serviceable, looking like, you know what, I want to be a starter in the NFL, which makes me wonder during the offseason, what do we do with Mariota and what do we do with Tannehill, because he's developed a rapport with his wide receivers. That stout Tennessee defense is tightening up one more time, and they always seem to turn it on around the back half of the season when it comes to the Titans. Then we got the Redskins and the Panthers. I don't know what the hell's going on in Charlotte.
Next.
Yeah, 29-21.
Yep.
And then JR's Eagles.
Let's talk about it.
Wow, that was unbelievable.
Oh man. So this is like backwardsville USA when it comes to the NFL right now, because
it's bizarro world.
I swear I would have, like, if I'm not mistaken, no, I you know what, at the beginning of the season I put 3 NFC South teams in the playoffs, which is just wrong. But I would have at least thought that the Eagles and or the Cowboys would be much better than where they're at right now. But right now, as it stands, JR, and that $50 bet, our teams are tied at 5-7. Ugh. And that's what killed me, was the fact that it was the Redskins. Come on, we got this. We're up 14-0 off rip. That first quarter, the Panthers came out and was doing the thing. And then we just stopped playing. For whatever reason, we stopped running the ball with Christian McCaffrey, which is beyond me.
Ugh.
Like, just the play calling was atrocious. Our offensive line, God forbid, what is going on in the world today is with our offensive line. Like, Kyle Allen he's watching freaking what's that? An avalanche of snow and people and bodies fall onto him in 2.5 seconds, and he just doesn't have that ability. And so we stopped running the ball, which has always been our strong point. Freaking Christian McCaffrey. We stopped feeding Christian McCaffrey. That's something that Dallas also stopped doing. They stopped feeding Zeke, which is half the problem. It's always been their problem. I don't even know why they stopped feeding the boy. Like, he needed to eat.
Yeah.
They stopped feeding him. But the same thing with Christian McCaffrey. I'm like, why? I understand that teams are gearing up against Christian McCaffrey. I get that. But our playbook is designed that way. Don't stop doing it. You're overthinking it. Now you're trying to do these play actions. You're trying to get the other players involved, which I get.
Being cute.
But yeah, like Kyle Allen, he is holding on to the ball way too long. I watched him like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 seconds. I don't even know what type of play call that was designed that had them running routes that freaking long. We're not designed for him to hold the ball that long. So I don't get it. Whatever is whatever. Our O-line was garbage. Our defensive line hurt and garbage. Could not stop a freaking nosebleed. 300 rushing yards?
And then you brought up an interesting point, Like Luke Kuechly, for the first time in forever, looked at LOST, lost.
He looked lost. He was in the wrong spot every single play. Darius guys just busting through holes, and he just waving by to our players. They were getting to the second level way too many times. And there was no backup. Like I said, Luke Kuechly was out of position, out of place too many times. And they were just busting big play after big play. And I say this again, we were up 14-0 and stopped playing. Like that at this point in time, I do have to question coaching. Like, Ron Rivera, what were you thinking? What was going on in your head? Do you think we were just going to coast to a victory after we were up 14-0? This is an NFL team. Granted, it's the Redskins, and they've been pretty awful. But the Panthers made them look like a juggernaut. Like, now they've got this 1-2 rushing punch that freaking might be, I don't know. They're 3-9. The Redskins are 3-9. What in the world? We still had an outside chance of making the playoffs. Now I don't even want us to make the freaking playoffs. Now I want a draft pick. Help, something. Because
you're gonna get that. You're not getting the playoffs.
But yeah, of course not, because freaking right now, you still like we're now 4 games out of the playoff hunt with 4 weeks to go. Yeah, it's all right. I'm cool with it. I'm aight. But just It frustrates me when we.
See, hey, listen.
And
So here it is.
Hold on. But I got to make this one point. Carolina Panthers fan base. I'm gonna say this again. Shut the hell up. I don't want to hear. Oh man, we need Cam. Oh no, Kyle Allen's our guy. We got a quarterback controversy. No, we don't. We don't have a quarterback controversy. We have an offensive line controversy because they cannot hold a pocket. Cam Newton is not the Cam Newton of 2015. He's not that mobile anymore, and he shouldn't be. Think about this: the biggest point of Cam Newton was developing him to be a pocket passer, and he showed that freaking the first 8 weeks. But then once again, the offensive line collapsed. He gets hurt. Now we're having this whole situation. Oh, Kyle Allen's our guy. He's a flash in the pan. No, that's not the controversy. Fix our O-line.
Yeah, O-line need fixing.
Fix our O-line. Our defense.
Yeah, I agree, but I don't think your quarterback is on the roster right now. To be honest with you,
I don't want to talk about it because honestly, it don't matter who we put back there under center. It doesn't matter.
You put Dan Marino back there.
It does not matter right now who we put at center. I think we should be the same exact team at 5-7, whether it's Cam or Kyle, because the freaking O-line is not doing anybody any favors. Christian McCaffrey is asked to do too much because you know why he's being asked to do too much? Because he's the first option to get the ball because the O-line is that freaking terrible. Because the quarterback has 1.8 seconds to get rid of the ball if we're passing. So guess what? Christian McCaffrey. All right. And when we're running the ball, he is our running back, Christian McCaffrey. And I think, honest to God, we need to put Reggie Bonifant in more plays. I don't understand why we don't do the 1-2 punch. But Reggie Bonifant has done some things. I've seen some action from him before. Why don't we do a 1-2 punch like that? That's what we should be mixing up. But
yep, that's true.
Our play calling, North Turner, I see some things that he's doing well, but there's just and our goal line off. You know what?
It can go to hell. All right, B-Live, I'll just go ahead and stop it for here because we've had this conversation ad nauseum. So Dwayne Haskins, he went 13 for 25, 147 yards, and he won. Yeah. So tough times in Carolina. But I think the game of the week was the 49ers and that Ravens game. That was a good game. Very good, very close game. Two high-powered offenses, two stout defenses. And Justin Tucker and the Ravens, they won out against the San Francisco 49ers. Now, could this be a preview of the Super Bowl, fellas?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
but
without very well
question,
could be.
Without question. I honestly could see them two in the Super Bowl. I think San Francisco, is the best team in the NFC right now. The Ravens are the best team in the AFC right now, and that game even proved that they're on another wavelength. It's tough. It's in the NFC, it's going to be very interesting. With your Green Bays, your Minnesotas, your Seattles, but I think San Francisco is built for the long haul.
I don't trust them yet.
You don't trust Jimmy G, baby?
Not
G,
yet.
baby.
I trust Drew Brees and Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers more. And
Experience.
And those are all contenders as well. So
I love defense. I think San Francisco's defense is just what it is. Can you imagine right now what Baltimore's been doing on offense with Lamar Jackson and putting up video game stats and San Francisco held them to 17 points?
Yeah. No doubt, no question about it. But we're still a month away from playoffs beginning. Never know what can happen.
Also, the Saints clinched the NFC South division, by the way.
Nobody give a... Why you talk about stuff like that, folks?
It's important stuff.
My bad. You know what? I'm sorry. Scottie D, how do you do it? Because I know you're extremely frustrated with your Cowboys. I'm frustrated.
How do I do it? Because I've been practicing for 25 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
I got you. That understandable.
To hear part one of Scott's diatribe about the Cowboys, check out Sports Bros episode number 37. freaking 7.
It really has been a 2-week rant for me now. Yeah.
Yeah, 2-week rant. Yeah, epic. This thing should win an Emmy or whatever podcast award. It need to win something. It's worthy of something. I'm gonna have to just take those clips, put them together, and put Scott's thoughts, the Dallas Cowboys, and just put it on YouTube and let somebody have it. They can get mad, whatever. This needs to be heard across the world. So, listeners, please listen. Tell somebody. But with that being said, that's the NFL recap in the books.
And now, our favorite part of the show, the choices of the voices.
Thank you once again to the wonderful and lovely Miss Button for introducing our favorite portion of the show, the choices of the voices. You heard her. She's not lying. She's telling the truth, the TRUF, the truth about this being the favorite section of our show. We kind of got a combined edition of the choices of the voices. Scottie D, what was the question for this week's choices of the voices segment?
Just put it out there what your favorite Thanksgiving sports memories were. And didn't get as many responses this week. I know it was Thanksgiving week and a lot of people had a lot going on, but still had a couple things to talk about. And I had a wonderful Thanksgiving memory built here. I already talked about the Cowboys. All right, let's go on.
All right, here we go. We got our lone soldier, Abraham Ortiz Jr. He says, anyone who is saying anything other than Randy Moss going off with only 3 catches doesn't know football. I know who that was against, but I don't want Scottie D's blood pressure to rise over the podcast.
Oh, man, that was miserable watching that.
Yeah, rookie Randy Moss, 3 catches, 156 yards, and 3 touchdowns?
Yeah, they were all long. He had a handful of bombs, and if I'm not mistaken, Randall Cunningham was his quarterback. If I'm not mistaken, it happened again 2 years later with Culpepper. I think Moss burned us on Thanksgiving like 2 out of 3 years. It was something crazy like that. And Randy Moss was extra mad because he was led to believe that the Cowboys were going to take him back in, I believe it was 1998, and they chose Greg Ellis, defensive lineman, instead, who was a good player, but obviously not a Hall of Famer like Randy Moss is. And so he just had that extra venom to play against the Cowboys. Boy, he let us have it a couple times.
Full of P and V, or Steve Smith said when he played against Carolina Panthers, when he became a member of the Baltimore Ravens, blood and guts. Everybody watch out.
Yeah.
There's nothing more scary than a player that's motivated. So as we said, this is a short edition of the Choice of the Voices. But, Scottie D, what's your Thanksgiving memories?
Well, there's a handful that stand out in my mind. Believe it or not, Jason Garrett played quarterback when Aikman was hurt. I think it was 1995. It had a really good game against the Packers. That was when the Cowboys were still in their heyday. I think they went to the Super Bowl that year and beat Pittsburgh. I think that was the same year. And then back in 1998, I can remember you guys remember the crazy Jerome Bettis heads or tails coin flip thing?
Yes, the coin flip. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a crazy one. But for me, I'll always think of the 1993 Cowboys-Dolphins game in the snow. That was such a big one. And even though it's kind of funny, I think of it with fondness because, first of all, I remember when the telecast came on and we saw snow on the field in Texas Stadium. That was crazy in itself. I mean, you just didn't see the snow at a Cowboys home game. I mean, that was nuts. You just didn't see that. Then, if I'm not mistaken, Emmitt Smith was injured and didn't play most of that game or any of that game. But obviously, the crazy thing that happened was the Cowboys blocking the field goal and Leon Lett sliding down into the snow, bumbling that, and the Dolphins got another kick. But the reason I look at that with fondness is because the Cowboys lost that game but didn't lose again. That kind of fired the team up and brought them back together, and they went on to win the Super Bowl that year. And so that was their last loss, and it was a crazy way to finish the game. I can remember after they blocked the kick, they show Aikman and Irvin on the sidelines hugging because they just won, and then they cut back. There's Leon sliding around in the snow, booting the ball. So that one to me will always be the one that really stands out. And, in the way that they turned it around and they rallied around Leon Lett, and they end up going on to win the Super Bowl. So that, to me, I look at that as, even though it sucked in the moment, it triggered a good memory for me. So that's mine.
Don't touch the ball, Leon. Leave it alone.
Yeah,
turkey on the brain.
Oh,
well, Jimmy Johnson, if I'm not mistaken, has since said that they put Leon in on that play. He wasn't normally in on special teams, but because he was so big. So Jimmy Johnson kind of took responsibility for not making clear to Leon Lett what would happen if that situation would occur. Never thinking they're going to block it and then he's going to, slide down and recover it. But I guess he just didn't know the rule and didn't realize that he didn't have to get that ball. But Jimmy Johnson took a little responsibility for that one as well.
It's a classic case of a lineman seeing a loose ball. Oh, got to get it. That's the only time I'll ever have a chance, to make a play or do something. It's okay, Leon. It's okay.
It did end up okay, yes.
It's okay. Like, we don't. I mean, if it would have cost them the season, we'd be like, okay, this is when it all began for the Dallas Cowboys, but due to the fact that you were able to rally around Leon, hey, Leon, we love you. We're going to feed you some turkey. Don't touch the ball, Leon. Leave it alone. Everything was great. Everything was good, fine, dandy. All right, be live. What you got for your Thanksgiving sports memory?
Oh, man. Scottie D, I'm sorry, bro. I'm going to go ahead and apologize.
I think I know which one it is. And it might be, let me see, it might be one of my, if I think, go ahead.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, I know. 2015.
Yep.
Yeah, but
Romo got knocked out.
Let me build this real quick. Let me build this though, because you know what? Cam Newton, that game, he wasn't doing too well. He wasn't doing too well. We were only getting field goals and everything. So we had to put in our backup quarterback. Instead of Cam Newton, our backup quarterback got us 2 touchdowns, man. Tony Romo is our backup quarterback that game.
Yeah, he had a bad day.
Threw 2 pick sixes. Oh my goodness! So that was that whole year. I mean, but it was one thing because Carolina doesn't normally play on Thanksgiving, so we had a Thanksgiving. Oh man, belly full watching the Panthers on Thanksgiving. Oh, I was extremely thankful. I'll never forget that day, man.
I actually had forgotten about that, and I wouldn't have even come up with this question if I would have been on my mind. 2 Carolina Panther co-hosts. If I had thought of that one, I would have never put that out there on the table.
Oh, God. Oh, because as soon as you ask the question, I'm like, oh, he finna be 38 hot, but I'm going to get my answer.
Yeah. Lay in the grass on that one, Eddy Kool.
Oh, man. Eddy Kool, yep. I'm sorry if I stole it from you, but, I mean, that was a wonderful Thanksgiving and a wonderful year for me. We came up short in the Super Bowl, but still, that's like, again, I got the chance to see 3 football games that year, freaking Thanksgiving, watching the Panthers. It was wonderful.
Yeah, that was a phenomenal moment. Like, I'm like, whoa, look at Luke. Luke Kuechly had what, 2 pick sixes?
That was fantastic.
He had 2 interceptions. One was a pick six. Kurt Coleman had the other pick six.
Yeah, that's right. Kurt Coleman had the other. That's right. I was like, wow, okay. Hey, Thanksgiving Day, we don't do this usually, and Cam was in the end zone during the twist and the stanky leg, and all was well until we ran up against the Broncos in the Super Bowl. Let's see. There's something that you gentlemen overlooked, but I digress. But I'll bring it back to you. Some of my fondest Thanksgiving memories was Randy Moss torching the Cowboys. Then the 2015 game between the Carolina Panthers destroying the Tony Romo and the Dallas Cowboys. Fresh turnover for sale. And then there was one. The night game that was on NBC between the New York Jets,
yes sir,
and the New England Patriots,
yes sir.
All hail to the butt fumble, and that's where it all fell down for Mark Sanchez.
Oh man!
As it was a scoop and score, the Patriots returned it back for a touchdown. And after that, I just turned the TV off. I don't want to see nothing else. How in the hell do you recover from a butt fumble?
You don't.
He never did.
Never did. He's in somebody's booth somewhere talking about it.
The butt fumble.
The butt fumble, man. Yep, that. Whew.
You ran to your own line. I'm like, hi. I'm like, you've been seeing that big green ass all year. What the hell are you doing? Now all of a sudden, I think I want to run to the ass. Boom! Oh, there goes the ball. He's going the other way, and that was
That was rough.
That was a coup de grace from Mark Sanchez.
He's gonna have to live with that for the rest of his life. Like,
yeah.
It comes up every year. Absolutely.
Every year. That you will not be able to get away from that. Jeez.
Other than because like what his first 2 years was his first year he went to the AFC Championship game.
Yep.
The Jets at that time had some out of nowhere good teams. Todd Bowles was making things happen. And once that butt fumble happened, the butt fumble was the precursor to what they have today in New York. Yeah, I said it and I did it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Rex Ryan had that defense believing they were going to beat everybody, and they were pretty good.
Yeah.
That was definitely a low spot for sure.
Yeah, it was just like, and the defense like, well, I don't know if we can help you. We're going to try, but it was the drizzling poops after that. All right, so that is part one of Choices of the Voices. Scottie D, do you have a question for Choices of the Voices next week? I know you do.
Yeah, I've been whining about refereeing all year, and I saw a call in a game on Sunday that bothered me. Multiple, but I watched the end of the Chargers-Broncos game. I don't know if you guys saw this, but did you see the pass interference call at the end of the game? The Chargers came down, and as typically they do, they don't score the touchdown to take the lead, but they did kick a field goal and tied the game up. And pretty much at this point, you're expecting a kneel down and let's go to overtime. But the Broncos put one up, and they got a gift. They got a pass interference call, and it's a call that you just can't make. I mean, the defensive back for the Chargers was running, and the receiver cut into him trying to get a ball. He didn't run into the receiver. The receiver ran into him. It was bad. It's just a call you don't make right there. And then the next play, they kick a field goal and win the game, and the Chargers go to 4-8. So I just I'm very frustrated with refereeing calling. But anyway, it kind of got me into thinking, what's the worst call you've seen in a football game? And you can give us a college or NFL game. I know the Saints pass interference thing's on the tip of everyone's brain. Use that if you think that's your answer. But there have been some egregious ones in the history of football, but that's where I'm going. Since I'm already down on the referees this week, a couple tripping calls bothered me last week in a certain game. But what's the worst call you've seen officiating wise in football? Again, you can go college or pro. We don't care. Or give us both.
Gotcha. All
right. The worst calls in the world between college football and pro football. That is next week's question on Choices of the Voices. All right, and the part two of Choices of the Voices. Shout out to Jonathan Edwards. I was, kind of bored, and I spent some time on Facebook because I'm always looking for stuff. Just like this video I posted the other day. I don't know if you guys saw it, but the next level training where the kid in the Dominican Republic was taking batting practices, and his daddy had a slingshot and he was hitting bottle caps.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
And making contact. What in the hell? That kid is the new home run king. Move over, Barry Bonds. Nice to know you, babe. Mark McGuire. Yeah, okay. But this kid, if you hit bottle cap, come on now. What the hell?
How can you see it? That's what I'm saying. How can you see it? So that is hand-eye coordination at its finest.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, from a slingshot, not from a raised mound. He's sitting in a folding chair, just ping, 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 ping. I'm like, you know what? This is some bull. This is some absolute bull. But he made contact. All right, so Jonathan Edwards, I found a question, and we're talking about basketball. It's getting that time of the year where basketball is starting to get, good again, and football is winding down. So we might have a little bit more basketball talk. And B-Live, what was the question that Jonathan asked?
He asked, if you had to pick, would you choose Kemba Walker or Kyrie Irving?
All right, that was the question. Okay, let's see. Uncle Mac said he just boycotted the NBA this year. He ain't got time for it. Brian Gardner said, I'm rolling with Kemba Walker. Go Celtics. Corey Turner said, that's easy. We go to Kimba. Clifton Lewis, guess what he said? Kimba, no question. Rob G and Javier from the Chucktown, they both said Kimba Walker as well, too. Let me find the other ones here. Robert Fulton, I thought, is that the Russell Robert Fulton? But no, it's just Robert Fulton. He said Kimba Walker. Craig Burns, anybody want to guess? Anybody want to guess? Kimba. All right. And I said Kimba Walker. Scottie D said
Kimba Walker.
And B-Live said,
I'm going to go outside of the box. I'm going Kyrie.
You would.
I'm going Kyrie. You know why? Because I do my research. Kyrie, I think, has a much bigger upside. He can do more with the basketball than Kimba. Kimba's nasty with it now. But, I mean, over the careers, Kyrie Irving is a better scorer.
Kyrie Irving is a better player all around. He really is. I mean, he's that. The question wasn't who's better. It was who'd you rather have.
I'd rather have Kyrie.
Yeah, I mean, he's the better player. I think, but
and that's what I say. People will think of personality wise. Some people were a little myth about the fact that Kyrie didn't want to be on a team with LeBron and that he wanted to lead his own team. And then when he led his own team, it wasn't what it was like. So
it was a disaster.
Yeah,
absolute disaster. He ruined a Celtics team that was very, very good in the playoffs the previous year without him.
That's the thing about it. I'm like, well, and that goes to show, like, in this case, who is we and who needs who? They were better without you. What? What the hell is this?
That's why I made the choice I did. But Kyrie is, when he's on his game, man, he's as good as there is at point guard.
Right. And so, I mean, I guess I'm a risk taker. I'm that type of dude. I said I'm outside the box. Of course, the conventional, the safe, the easy answer is Kimba Walker. But I'm just, man, like, seeing some of the things that Kyrie does, like I said, that Boston team, that's rough. And now we get to see Kimba in that place at Boston and see what they're able to do this year. So I mean, they're doing some damage. They're doing some things. I miss you, Kimba. I wish you were back with the. I don't know why.
Kimba took some damage too. Didn't he go out on a stretcher a week ago or so?
I think concussion. I think that was ouch. But yeah, that's my feel on it. You know, I had to put a little twist in it.
I was actually surprised it was so unanimous for Kemba, but I think that's based on Kyrie's reputation right now, just because things were not good in Boston, and in Brooklyn, those guys were balling towards the end of last year, and they're not as hot this year. You know, they chose Kyrie basically over D'Angelo Russell, and those guys were having some fun last year, winning some games. And I don't know what Brooklyn's record is, but I know that they're not off to the start they were hoping for.
I can go look up the record right now. I think, like you said, with Kimba, it's the fact that it's the personality factor. Like, okay, he had the Nets of 10-10. When he first got drafted, he had a chance to be the man in Cleveland. Then LeBron came back, and Kyrie got the keys taken from him. You already know what time it is, kid. Come on now. And so I guess Kyrie just kind of rode the wave, and then when they didn't win the championship, and some more things happened, and it just was the drizzling poops, and then, well, I'm going to leave, and I'm going to go to Boston. I'm going to be the man there. And like you said, easier said than done. And then that whole Boston experiment didn't last. You know, they were in Boston. They really don't like him they lose him. They boo, F you, Kyrie. Boston, yeah, some of the you think those Philly fans or something? Try that mess in Boston. And now he's in Brooklyn, and now they're 10-10. They're meddling. They lost to the Heat on Sunday, 109-106. Hey, the Heat is 14-5. I don't know if anybody's paying attention, but I digress.
Jimmy Butler, right? Is he doing his thing?
He's being a head case. I don't know. He's doing something.
Because I'll be honest with the listeners and everything. I am full on 100% football mode. I will get into basketball come mid-January. Basketball and hockey, I'll get into it mid-January. I really, honestly, God. And Christmas. I watch the basketball games on Christmas, but I'm just over here. Like, I just happened to pull up the standings. The Toronto Raptors are 15-4.
Yep, 7 in a row.
So I mean, hey, was that Spicy P?
Yeah, Spicy P.
Spicy P up there doing some things in Toronto. So the Celtics with Kemba are 14-5. And then there's some other things. My Hornets are terrible as usual, but they're in ninth at 8-13. So once again, in the Eastern Conference, a team below 500 is in the playoff hunt.
Thanks, Michael Jordan. We love you.
And then in the Western Conference, the Lakers 17-3, the Denver Nuggets, Clippers, the Mavs. The Mavs, by the way, just ended the Los Angeles LeBron's 10-game winning streak.
LeBron's.
Luka Doncic. I can't even pronounce
Doncic. What? 77. 77.
That dude is balling. Like, him and Kristaps Porzingis are freaking doing damage up there with Dallas. It's gonna be very interesting. Well, look at there. The Phoenix Suns are 8-10 and are in 8th place. So there's all kinds of craziness going on in the NBA. But yeah, good things.
Yeah, so good things. So that is that for the other half of the Choice of the Voices. Shout out to Jonathan Edwards for posting that question, me finding it, and getting everybody, and I mean everybody, involved. All right, we come to the part of the show where I'm getting to go home cue. So guess what time it is? It is a round of pepper, and guess what? We got 3 of us, 3 topics, each a piece, and we opine about it in our own special way. Be Live, I hope you got your arm in good shape, because you're out of practice, but just make sure you put the ball in the glove, not on the forehead. Just like I said in my video, 10 things to consider during the holiday season about the raisins going on the cake, not on the potato salad. But I digress. Pepper points, 3 things. Here we go, and I'll go first. My first pepper point goes out to the Cincinnati Bengals for securing their first win of the season. Guess who else won, fellas? Jeff Lanham. He's a Bengals fan, and he ends a streak of living on his roof on a tent at a Cincinnati bar as they get their first win of the season. I'm glad they won now, because guess what, fellas? In Northeast Ohio, the weather's getting nasty, and guess what? The same can be said for Southern Ohio. So shout out to the Bengals, man. That way this man can get his ass in the house and not get pneumonia. Over to you, Scottie D.
I hear you. Well, the Pittsburgh Pirates managerial search came to an end early last week, and they hired Derek Shelton, who was a bench coach for the Minnesota Twins. Guys, I can't tell you that I know really a whole lot about Derek Shelton, but I know this. He's not Clint Hurdle. We are trending in the right direction. Over to you, B Live.
Oh, man, I knew that was about to happen. All right. So, in the NFL, Arizona Cardinals cornerback Josh Shaw, he gets suspended throughout the 2020 season because he was on injured reserve and decided it would be a good idea to bet on NFL games, which is a big, huge no-no. As an NFL employee, you're not even allowed to set foot into a betting parlor. So he is done for the 2020 season. Do you remember that name, though? Josh Shaw? He used to play for Southern California.
What did Josh Shaw do?
Well, he got in trouble in college because he lied about suffering injuries to both of his ankles.
That Josh Shaw.
Yeah. Saying that he was saving his drowning nephew when in actuality...
That's the dude?
Yep. He was running away from the police and jumped out off the balcony.
I thought that guy went away for good.
He is about to. Because, oh my God. That's crazy. Man.
Penalty box. Just for lying, gambling, just
Oh,
man.
Oh my God, just that's too funny to me. Eddy Kool, here you go. There's the ball for you.
Oh man, the stupider it gets stupider. But on a lighter note, my second pepper point goes out to North Myrtle Beach's very own Tamarick Hemingway. Why, you ask? Tamarick Hemingway did something similar to what Richard Sherman did. Now, Richard Sherman paid off the lunch debt of a school in California. Tamarick Hemingway said, you know what? I'm going to team up with Main Slice in North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and I'm going to give back to the community as they team up to pay off the lunch debt of not one, not two, but 3 schools in the Horry County area. That's what you're supposed to do. When you make it big, never forget where you came from. So shout out to Main Slice Pizza and Tamarick Hemingway, former Carolina Panther, former Denver Bronco, and former LA Ram, for doing a good service to his community. Hey, man, like I said at the end of the show, do something good for yourself if you can. Do something nice for someone else. They'll greatly appreciate it. But we still got some more show to go. Over to you, Scottie D.
Yeah, man, double thumbs up to that. I like that. Good story.
Yes,
so a little bit ago, I was talking about how I was very disappointed in Michigan football, but how about Michigan basketball, man? Juwan Howard, one of the Fab Fivers, is taking over as the head coach there, and they just won the Bahamas title, beating Gonzaga and North Carolina along the way, both top 10 teams. So that was a good story. And in the meantime, Michigan State, too early, really. I mean, we didn't really do a college basketball preview, but I'm going to pick Michigan State to win the whole thing this year. They knocked off Duke last year in the Final Four, and they get a crack at them on Tuesday night, Michigan State and Duke. College basketball, man, it's here. We're looking at football, but college basketball is it's a good. They've got some good stuff going on right now with these little mini tournaments before the conference play begins. But Michigan and Michigan State basketball, that's where it's at right now, boys. Over to you, B-Live.
Yep. So let's see who lost. Kentucky lost already. It ain't easy being number
They
one.
lost to Evansville. Kentucky lost to Evansville.
Coached by former UK player Walter McCarty.
Yeah.
Number 0. Yeah.
Nice. So I'm going to piggyback off of Scottie D with college basketball because I was there. Sometimes for the listeners, when it comes to our pepper points, we don't necessarily discuss with our with the co-host about what we're going to come with the pepper. So I had a very similar pepper point when it comes to college basketball because I was looking at the polls because it's not easy being number one. Right now, it's looking like Louisville will take over the number one spot.
Louisville.
And guess who they face in the ACC Big Ten Challenge? Michigan. Are you kidding?
Ooh.
Yeah, baby.
Can Michigan pull off a third top 10 number one seed victory? Can they do it? I am going to have my eyes glued on that because, like I said, you got Louisville, Michigan, Duke, Michigan State. You got Ohio State, North Carolina. The ACC Big Ten Challenge is every bit of exciting this year. And I will be glued on the screen when it comes to college basketball. I got to figure out who Clemson is playing. Oh, I mean, I get it. Like, I grew up a North Carolina basketball fan, Michael Jordan. But I'm saying there was a point of contention where I can't root for 2 different colleges, whatever. You know what? It's fine. I'll pick Clemson and everything. I bleed orange. I'll stick with them in basketball. Sorry, but it will always be North Carolina over Duke. So I want to make that perfectly clear. Perfectly clear. Eddy Kool.
You hear that, JR?
Always. Paul Odom, if you're listening, yeah, I said it on air. You still suck, Dookie. Eddy Kool, have at it.
Dookie noodles. Anyways, on a somber note, my third and final pepper point. Rest in peace to Summerville High School, state of South Carolina, high school coaching legend John McKissick, who passed away on Thanksgiving Day at the age of 93 years old. You want to talk about an impressive resume? Hold on, let me sit up in my chair because I want to give this man his proper respects, okay? John McKissick spent 63 years on the job as coach at Summerville High School, which is located in the Charleston, South Carolina area, in case you're not familiar. 63 years on the job. 10 South Carolina state titles, all at Summerville High School. He has a career coaching record of 621 wins, 155 losses, and 13 ties. That 621 is the most all-time wins at the college level or pro level ever, okay? McKissick was also the 3-time high school coach of the year in 1980, 1994, and as recent as 2003. Also, under the coaching tutelage of the legendary coach John McKissick, some of the most notable players that he coached: former offensive lineman Jamar Nesbitt, who played for the Saints; current Cincinnati Bengal wide receiver A.J. Green; also Kevin Long, Dustin Fry, and a long list of others who were able to call John McKissick coach. Much respect to a Palmetto State legend and a football legend, in my eyes, the legendary coach John McKissick. Rest in power, Coach.
Definitely. Wow. Impressive.
Yeah.
Good call, Eddy Kool. I like that.
Yes. So that is for Pepper. Everybody got their points in?
Oh, no. It's third round. It's over to Scottie D.
You always started.
Here you go, Scottie D. I don't know how to run my show anymore, but here's the ball. How about this? I'm just going to walk the ball over to you and just put it in your hand. There you
All
go.
right. That sounds good. All right, when the holidays end, man, we got a couple big events to look forward to in the world of combat sports. Conor McGregor has agreed to fight Cowboy Cerrone on January 18th, and that's big in a lot of ways because the UFC looks at Conor McGregor as one of its biggest cash cows, one of their biggest pay-per-view draws. If he wins that fight, and I expect him to win that fight, that sets up a lot of possibilities going forward. But Conor hasn't fought since last year, 2018, against Khabib Nurmagomedov, and before that he hadn't fought since he lost to Floyd Mayweather. So the UFC, that's big news. And in February, we are going to get that rematch in the heavyweight division of boxing that we've been longing for, and that's Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. And yes. Deontay Wilder disposed of Luis Ortiz last week, and despite being down pretty much every round until the 7th, and when he just flashed that power that has become his trademark and just put the guy down with one shot right down the middle. So I wasn't sure if we'd get to that fight that soon because Tyson Fury has had such a nasty gash on his face in his last fight a couple months ago, but his promoter, Bob Arum, says that thing is all healed up. He's had plastic surgery, and he is good to go. So a couple good months of fighting we have looking forward to heat up the cold winter months after Christmas. Be Live, over to you, brother.
And not to mention, he also got him a WWE check as well, too.
That's right, he did.
I was about to say, he better be fighting in February, freaking over there in Saudi Arabia, fighting and everything with WWE. I don't care what's going on. Get your ass in the ring.
Yeah, trust that ring.
All right. My third pepper point, it's interesting. I know y'all, a lot of weight is on me to finish off strong. So I'm going to go with this. The kickers of the NFL.
Oh, oof.
Boy. I could talk a lot about when it comes to the kickers, but you know what? I'm gonna end this on a happy note. What about these onside kicks?
Ooh.
Yeah. First of all, let me start off with this. Whoever was the translator whenever this they named this kid, and because Young Ho Koo. Young Ho Koo. That's the kid's name. The kicker for Atlanta, Young Ho Koo. All right, Young Ho. I'm ready for him to drop 16 hot ones right now. Young Ho Koo. Hey, Young Ho Koo. Hey, Young. But man, he successfully, not one, not two, but 3 successful onside kick tries. One of them was negated due to a penalty, but 3 of them in one game. That's insane. They still lost. But the fact that with the new onside kick rules, it's virtually impossible to get an onside kick, because usually before you could have the running start, you cannot take off until the ball is kicked, which just is virtually impossible. But Atlanta gets 3 of them, and doggone it if my Carolina Panthers don't pull one off as well. And again, we make it to the freaking goal line, and we can't get the ball in the end zone. Sorry, my bad.
Oh, no.
My bad. This has just been a good show. But yeah, onside kicks. There, so you're saying we still have a chance. I just like the excitement sometimes of onside kicks, but unless you're Nick Saban and kicking an onside kick in a national championship game, which nobody was ready. Be live, bring it back. We've won 2 out of the past 3. It's all right. It could have been 3 out of the last 4, but that onside kick. All right. This has been an awesome pepper. Eddy Kool, you have it. There you go. Take your show back. I'm done.
It's all hey. It's good to have B Live back in the house, ladies and gentlemen. We got B Live back in the house, like the curtains in the blinds. All right. With that being said, it was a very great and spirited edition of the Sports Bros podcast. I want to say, guys, I love you and thank you. Thank you for being my peace and my sanity in this thing called life.
I promise you, that feeling is mutual.
All right. With that being said, Scottie D, where can they reach you?
You can reach me at the Beast Ninja on 501 down in Myrtle Beach. It's a fantastic obstacle course training facility, and I highly encourage you to come down and give it a shot. It's a lot of fun. Beast Ninja, Myrtle Beach.
What's going on with the trivia as well, too?
What's that?
Oh, yeah, I do trivia, too. Yeah.
What's that? Booyah?
Booyah? You can also reach me, Booyah, at Bowie's on Mondays at 6 o'clock. I do a live trivia there, and I do it at 6:45 on wonderful Wednesday at Wild Wing Cafe in Barefoot Landing. So come check me out there. And as always, on Facebook.
Man, I want some of them Wild Wing chicken wings, man. I mean, Oscars is good. Nothing against Oscars, but Wild Wings is just, I need it in my life.
I want it in
my life. Chicken. All right, B-Live, where can they reach you as well?
All right. You can find me at KFC, or ACC. We do chicken right.
I'm going to kick your ass. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. That was actually me, my maid. It was actually shout out to Lisa. I know you probably don't listen, but she actually said it, and I was like, oh, I gotta make it. I gotta design that. But yeah, them chickens, them coops, them gamecocks. I still got some gamecock in my tooth. But yeah, I'm sorry. You can find me.
You eating them dookie noodles, but go ahead. Eating more booty noodles.
You can find me. I reside here in Fayetteville, North Carolina. You can find me at Max Speed Shop 482 North McPherson Church Road. I am the bar manager. 57 beers on tap, over 200 bottles and cans of beer, and 99 bottles of beer on the wall. But yeah. But you can also find me, your boy, the Almighty B Live. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter. More and more Instagram. I got to get better about Twitter. But Instagram, just be your boy B Live, no I. So THSBEYABOYBLIV to the E. That's my Instagram and Twitter handle. You can find us, the Sports Bros Podcast, on Instagram and Twitter. On Twitter, it's Sports Bros PCast. And on Instagram, Sports Bros Podcast. Check us out on YouTube. For some odd reason, I think we have 2 channels.
Yeah.
We're
Like, what the hell?
We're working those kinks out. We're gonna get you some more content on there as well. Got a lot going on, man. But freaking, we're gonna keep doing what we do. And yeah, one last thing also, because Scott reminded me, booyah! Freaking December 4th, this coming Wednesday, ESPN has designated that day as Stuart Scott Day.
I'm
like
crying
it.
all damn day. I'm gonna be crying all damn day.
I'm telling you, man, like, I'm gonna have an extra special rendition of what happened Wednesday. In dedication to him. He is the main reason why I want to do this sports thing. He is the number one reason why I do what I do. Thank you, Eddy Kool. Thank you, Scottie D, for the opportunity of being with you guys, man. This is literally a childhood, lifelong dream to do this. And
you're lucky to have us.
Yeah. And for Stuart Scott, man, cooler than the other side of the pillow.
Jam. Oh, jam. Oh, I'm getting goosebumps. Oh, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. Oh, Jesus. I'm getting goosebumps. All right. With that being said, I'm Eddy Kool, a.k.a. the HOC, the head of creative. Johnny Do-It-All. You can also find me at Facebook. You can also find me at work, staring a hole in the side of my manager's head. Not editing that out. I'm just joking, but I'm for real. Shout out to everybody that's been following me on Instagram, Cool Season all one word. Also check me out on the Sports Bros podcast Instagram account. As B-Live mentioned, all things Sports Bros, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook like page. I thought about doing a Snapchat account, but we ain't got time for all that. That's for the kids. Yeah, so you just follow me, man. Eddy Kool, the HOC. I'm doing some of everything. I'm staying busy, keeping my mind occupied, and just having fun doing this thing called sports. This is my escape from reality. This is my sanity. It's what I do. It's what we do. And this is it right here. All right. Oh, before I go, B-Live, I tried to get Samson on the show, but B-Live was having no parts of it.
Oh, we ain't got time to be. Oh, my God. Jesus. You know what, Samson, my dude, the fact that you're taking hours of your own time to parody my What Happened Wednesdays, and you got all the jokes in the world, that is flattering. I appreciate it. I love it, man. It is hilarious. I can't even be mad at dude. Right now, currently though, I need 10 points. I need 10 points from Tyler Lockett. Please, I just need 10 points so I can just secure this victory, and I ain't got to worry about no tattoos and none of that. Jesus Lord, I'm in pretty good standing because, like, she would have the person that we're tied up with, she'd have to score like 70, 80 points tonight in order to catch up with me in points. So I'm okay, but I would just like to have that victory. If I win, I'm good.
You need that cushion. That cushion. All right, and that's it for another episode of the Sports Bros podcast. Thanks to Samson, aka Sammy Mo. Shout out to him for just doing that stuff. It's just great. It's entertaining. It's just like, oh, is he on the podcast? I'm like, he's not on the podcast, but it's remotely related to the podcast. But it's funny. It's entertaining. Talking trash. That's what we do. Talking trash, talking sports. Just normal guys doing normal guy stuff with a nice, enormous sized platform. And in closing, do something nice for yourself. And if you can, do something nice for someone else. They will greatly appreciate it. Happy holidays. Take care of yourself. It's the wrong time of year to be riding dirty. Call an Uber and just love up on each other. Just show some love. Just show some love this holiday season. With that being said, this is another episode of the Sports Bros podcast.
Yes, sir.
Do better.
Bye.